it's, yeah, I mean, what leads to a good night's rest is very worthy of ongoing study. Um, and knowing that we can, choices that we make really have an impact. Um, and it does. It kind of gets to the heart of meditation where we notice causes and conditions. I know Jenny has brought this up. Oh, well, when I do this, it leads to this. When I do that, it leads to that. It's like eating chocolate cake before I go to sleep has this effect. And of course, the question is it going to change our behavior? It's like, am I not going to eat the chocolate cake? And it takes a while. So that's where compassion comes in. And like, I can't believe I still ate the chocolate cake because I know what's going to happen. Oh, we can get so frustrated. And that's just one example of like, I know better than this. Why am I continuing to do it? So we come here to a class like this to really look deep into this. And right at the heart of our practice is I care. And this matters to me. Um, yeah, not the finger wagging, but just a deep connection. So, and then we look in this moment, you know, can I just in this moment just be free of the finger wagging and give myself this gift of connection in this moment. So, there's my mini lecture before we even start class. um, but this all started because Catherine mentioned when she just joined in right at the beginning, just saying like she just sleeps better because of this class. And I'm like, it's just so interesting to notice things that happen in our everyday life where we didn't really plan for that to happen as a result. But there can be, I think it was Steve Armstrong who said he used to call them all sorts of spiritual goodies that we get, like that come out of this practice is like, didn't expect. And this builds what um, is called faith. We have this faith that this good things come from this. I can't even plan like what's going to really come of it. So why don't we settle in just to do our initial practice, just keeping it kind of simple. In fact, I like to call this like pre-meditation. We're just exploring like, well, what is it like right now? Like what's happening in kind of your personal world right now. So go ahead and find a position, physical position. Feels comfortable. I'm going to mute everyone. And then just really simple techniques can be effective, like taking a few deeper breaths, maybe telling yourself in a kind voice, like, I'm going to put everything down. I'm just going to let myself be here. Like giving yourself this gift. No matter what is happening right now, I'm just going to stop all the ways I strive. What does it feel like just to stop? Appreciate the sound of the bell. That's like calling you, honey, being right here. So if you were to, close your eyes as you practice the grounding experience, like feeling my body is right here. Sitting, not going anywhere, thoroughly and completely here. You might feel the tug. So many other things you could do or think about. It's true. I'm just putting that down. So feeling just your physical body. What's happening today? How does it body feel? What is the feeling of just your energy? Are you high energy? It's like a low energy. Just noticing energy level. There's even kind of a mental energy. Is the mind dull? Doesn't feel disinterested? Or overly active, trying to figure out. We're kind of watching all of this now. When we take a little step back and we just, instead of being caught up, we're actually watching. Oh, this is where we have learned maybe that technique of labeling. Like, I feel hungry. So you could just notice that. Oh, this is what hunger feels like. Oh, the mind likes to ponder things. Like, oh, what have you been pondering? So you're aware, you're not pondering about it anymore, but you're aware of what you've been pondering. You notice your present experience of your surroundings, any sounds. And as you bring awareness to your body, just maybe feeling like your face, or you could soften and relax your face, your lips, and softening your throat. And as you're doing this, it's like this little practice of letting go. I'm practicing letting go. I'm a person sitting. Breathing. Watch your breath. Feel, bring awareness to your whole body. So we call this pure awareness of the body, where it's impossible to like or dislike your body, just with your body. You might play a little bit with kind of aligning your body so you get a sense of space inside, like your chest, your throat. A feeling of being open. I think I'm just going to share just a little teaching about impermanence and change. So I was listening to a talk by there's one of kind of the almost founding fathers of Vipassana meditation in the United States was Joseph Goldstein. Started this center called IMS, Insight Meditation Society, in a group of a few other people. And I was listening to a talk of his the other day, and it's just so sweet. As he was talking, I just imagined, like, thought of all the hundreds and hundreds of talks that he's given on meditation, and just and how each one, like, there's just something else learned, conveyed, that's fresh and new. And he said that someone, asked him recently, like, well, what do you do when you meditate? Just wondering, like, what do these great teachers do, like, after all of the study and practice you've done? Like, and he said, well, that lately it's almost like it's kind of crystallized down to impermanence. He said, I reflect on, um, so impermanence really just meaning that things change. And and then he's just kind of reflects on, like, and how's that going? You know, are you clinging or grasping onto something? And so he said that's a lot of his um, meditation. And it kind of revealed then, like, I'm sure, like, if we were to do this every time when we meditate, it's like all sorts of different stuff would appear. Like, well, now what am I, what have I gotten into that I'm like, what is it that I don't want it to change, even though it has, and I'm struggling with it. I want it to be like it used to be, or so all these ways we kind of wiggle around, not wanting things to be as they are, basically. And he had this really good, he said he kind of came up with this kind of analogy in a way that what happens when we don't accept change is, he said, it's kind of like when you hold on to, like, a rope, and the rope is moving. When things are changing or moving, it's like we want it to stop, like we want to hold on to it. And he said, well, we can end up getting rope burn. So he, made this comparison of, like, if we hold on so tight, we just get burned, because this change is happening and we're wanting to stop it. But, like, with that idea of the rope that, like, pulls, there's just no way you're going to stop it. But so then of course the rope burn is something we've gotten ourselves into by just really getting into the clinging. So he'll kind of, maybe do that, like, during meditation, is like, where am I feeling the rope burn? Um, and I felt this too when I listened to, maybe you listened to this also, was at the beginning of Kiss My Asana when Matt Sanford gave a talk. And during his like that first introducing the week, starting, he interviewed a few people. Is this right? Did anyone hear this? So he interviewed some people who have been coming to Mind Body Solutions for quite a while and kind of like him, so, being um, a disability, paralyzed from the waist down. And he brought in other people who were similar situations and had them tell their story of like um, basically their body story about when I first found MBS, I did not have a good relationship with my body. It was like really frustrated. And then their, gradual kind of healing by learning like I can do yoga um, while I'm in a wheelchair. And to hear Matt talk with you, it's just like he's coming from a place of no rope burn. Like he's not clinging on to like, I want my body to be like it used to be. You can tell he's just free. And like that has changed. Like I'm having this like just enlightened way of relating to that change. And maybe especially when things change, like, abruptly, he was in a car accident that bam, big change. So I feel like we all experience this in small ways or big ways. And, what Matt is saying is that, well, we can, this is kind of what we do here is really pause and reflect on, can I be with and allow this change? Especially when it's happened. Clearly for him, it was like, I'm now paralyzed and it's not going to change. I can do as much yoga as I want, but I'm not going to not be paralyzed. And for him to, just to speak in such a, this, so free about his relationship with his body, I felt what it was really similar to what Joseph Goldstein was talking about with the rope burn and um, these deep teachings around impermanence and around change. So this time that we spend now, so when we move into our meditation, this really is a practice of being, and I say this a lot, of being with things as they are. And instead of, this ongoing kind of wish, like, I want things to be different, I also saw this quote recently. It was something like, noticing this curious paradox that when I love myself just as I am, then I can change. So it's like that's what we're doing here is just, can I be with things just as they are? And I don't need to bring in the big word love, but often it just comes in very organically of a remembering, a deep remembering, connecting. So as we start, you feel free to rearrange your body even like a little bit, just feeling like I'm in this position where I'm going to practice being open, even like physically, bringing in some space, being open to things as they are. Now, as we noticed in the beginning, oftentimes like our energy, we can feel, um, yeah, maybe like a little wiggly or restless, or sometimes just really dull and disinterested. Um, we could practice, if it feels okay, to just take some deeper, steady breaths. You feel like you're not just kind of watching the breath, but you're actually taking in, like kind of soaking in a deep inhale. And then just feeling the complete exhale. You're practicing like a little bit deeper breath. The teacher I always remember said, the more we breathe, the more we feel. So this can help you feel into what's happening right now. Feel into the present. And this deeper breath has a balancing effect. So if the body feels restless, it can be calming, grounding. If the mind feels dull, it can bring in an alertness and interest that you choose, of course, like what really works with these qualities that we're developing of being both alert and relaxed, grounded, spacious. This might, you might even realize, like, wow, I'm breathing. And the measure of health that you have, deeply appreciating it. Might bring awareness to the space inside of your mouth or your throat, your lips. And when we bring awareness there, that space might soften. When we physically soften, we release tension. It's kind of like letting go of the rope. A feeling of opening. Aliveness. This reflection on impermanence, it sounds pretty like common sense that things change. It's probably a teaching like we really never received in school or even from our elders. But as we look closely, it makes a lot of sense to practice allowing change. And how we ourselves can put good things into motion, positive change. Thich Nhat Hanh has this one phrase he would use. He said, "Long live impermanence." May we continue to do this work that leads to positive change. May we stay open. I'll just give one kind of ending thought, like just at the end of your practice, it's good to notice just like what changed. Like just how you physically feel. Like we think of meditation as something, in our brain, which it is. So we can maybe notice just how our mood is or attitude has shifted, or but how it really does. It can have just like a body feel to it also, or dare I use the word, just energy. Like what would it feel like to be around you? Ah, so great to see everyone. You guys always brighten my day. Wonderful being, it's an honor to teach this class. And